Hello, and welcome to Lit Laugh Lounge.
The final episode of our Crescent City House of Flame and Shadow series. Wow! Crazy.
It took us a while to get here, but
This
we
is not
made
the
it.
correct book. I have too many books on me.
We've made it. We're ready. It was
not okay. Everyone on TikTok was sitting there and they were like, I hate Bryce. Bryce is the worst. She was awful in this book. There was like a theory that she was what's the word? Possessed by Thea the entire book. She was not that bad.
She really wasn't. It was
She just had a few millennial quip lines, and they were kind of cringy. Not to offend any millennials.
Goose, stop it.
Goose. Sorry,
but-
podcasters. Alana decided to attack her mic for no reason.
But it was more like some of the decisions that Bryce made throughout the book did piss me off, like really badly. But towards the end, I don't see having a problem with her because towards the end, she was normal Bryce.
Also, this entire book takes place over a week. A week. That's crazy.
No way. I think
It says in the book. A week. It has been a week since the end of House of Flame, House of Sky and Breath.
there's no way.
Do you want me to pull it up? Because it's literally in the book. I don't know what chapter it is, but because she says it's when she's facing Regulus and she's like, I'm not the scared little girl that I was like a week ago. And I was like, this has been a week?
I don't think so, because I mean, just like between Prithian and then
Where are you?
I'm so confused.
Anyway,
I think when she's facing off against it's chapter 96.
I think I'm somewhere near it. Well, anyway, I promise you, it was a week because she says it. And I texted Shannon and I said, it has been a week? And she said, yeah, crazy, right? It's only a week.
That is insane.
So that makes all of this, like, all of her actions significantly better to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're all
Sleep deprived
in, like, split-second decisions.
Mhm.
Like, all of this, like, she has not had time to think about anything.
Yeah.
So that makes it all, like, a lot better to me.
Goose, stop. I'm gonna knock over your phone.
Anyway, I'll keep looking for that at some point. But let's see. What chapter did we start on? What chapter?
9.
There we go. Okay, chapter 90. Bryce and Hunt and the three princes of hell meet the Asteri in the middle of the battle, and Regulus is not there. This is very important. Goose? Grey Gustafer the Second, Queen of Avalon. Could you not? Anyway, and they're all like afraid of Apollyon because he ate one of their people. So I would also kind of be afraid of him.
Your butt.
And then Hunt and Bryce need to go destroy the first Slate Core, but Bryce is like, nah. Bryce is like, I'm gonna like make sure that this works before I go and take on Regulus. And so she stabs Polaris, who's kind of being a bitch, not gonna lie. Like, she deserved that. She deserved to get stabbed. So she stabs her with both the knives. Bitch, I swear to fuck, what are you on? You want this? Goose, you want this?
Anyways,
Go get it.
Polaris
Is being
she
a
comes
bitch.
out like fire. It's so funny.
And so then Bryce stabs her, and it is going so slow. Like, the portal to nowhere has slowed down time, like, so intensely. And Hunt's just standing there, and he's, like, watching it, and he's like, this is taking too long. And then he sees a black hole open, and he goes, that's scary. I'm gonna zap it with my lightning.
Yeah.
So he zaps it.
Especially because it's starting to suck Bryce in.
Yeah, and it starts to take her in, so he zaps it, and it closes much quicker, and it sucks Polaris inside, and she implodes on herself. And then boom, she's gone. And it's great. And then Bryce looks hella feral because her eyes are fucking glowing. And Hunt gets a call from Rune, and Rune's like, "Hey, Shotty, I need you to come to the First Light courtroom like now." And then the line goes dead.
Which, like, the whole idea of just like getting a phone call in battle and like answering it while all 5 of the Asteri are standing there is crazy.
It's so funny that she didn't like
so funny.
make walkie-talkies or something like that. I feel like that would be a little less like, what?
Yeah, like, what do you mean you gave him a call? Like
a phone call.
Oh my
if she was like, he radioed over, it would have made more sense in my brain, but like, whatever.
It's like a phone call. What? A signal right now?
What? Crazy. And then Bryce is like, yeah, I heard it. And they teleport, but they miss. And they end up 3 stories above in a room full of Death Stalkers. And they're like, oh,
this was the wrong floor.
This is scary. We should do some fighting. And so Hunt's getting ready to fight. He's like, do I waste my power here? What do I do? And then a wall of water comes crashing in. And he zaps the water, and there's like a little implosion. A little slight implosion. And guess who? Guess who made the wall of water? It's Therion, my bro.
He's finally here.
Yeah. Man's was speeding over. He was going above the speed limit.
To be fair, he was doing better than Ethan was.
Ethan, I love Ethan. He's so incompetent.
Oh my god.
I don't even know. But so Therion's like, bro, you snapped the strap off my bag. I don't know where the antidote is now. And Hunt's like, no time. Figure it out and meet us in the First Light courtroom. And so they like goes, come here, child.
He's being so annoying today.
I know. I don't know what it is. But so then they're like,
oh, he dropped the antidotes.
Yeah.
Which I'm like,
that's what he's like looking for the antidotes. It snapped the strap off his bag. And so they're like, no time. Find it. Meet us there. And then they zap away to the room. And Therion's still looking for the bag. And then we go to Rune, who did, in fact, walk into a trap.
Wow.
As he thought.
Pollux was literally just standing there. Where's Lydia at?
With a gun. And Pollux is there, and not the boys. And so he's like, has a gun up to Rune's head, and he's like, take me to Lydia. And then Rune's like, I don't really want to, but okay. And so he takes her to Lydia, and Lydia's not there.
Yeah.
And so then it pans over to Therion, who found the antidote bag and Lydia, and is dragging her through the hallway. And Lydia's like, my sons! I need to get my sons!
My sons! And Therion's like, shut the fuck up!
They're like, oh my god! He can talk you!
Stop talking!
And so Therion's like, I got 2 antidotes left.
Which, like, wow. Like, I feel like it's so convenient that, like, all of them broke. Okay, well, first of all, he dropped it, then it's...
Well, Hunt exploded his bag.
I know. I'm aware. But
he didn't drop it.
It's
Hunt
still convenient.
Well, I think it's supposed to be like a choice because it's between Bryce and Hunt and Lydia and Rune. So it's like...
Which I thought they were going to save the one for, like, Bryce. Because I feel she could have used it.
Probably.
She really could have used it.
But yeah, so Therion's like shuffling her out of there, and she's still on crack. She is on cocaine. But so all but 2 of the Violet Shouters, and so he gives it to Lydia so she can heal because obviously she cannot take on Pollux like that. And so she heals, and then Therion's trying to keep her quiet, and she's like tweaking in the corner, and he's like, "Shut up, shut up."
Therion is stressed.
Therion is so stressed. Like, Mans does not know what are you? Sorry, the cat is being so strange today. I don't know what she's on. There's gonna be a lot of muffling of the microphone.
Yeah.
But so then Pollux is like, well, might as well bring out my incentive. And so he has 2 of the Asteri guard bring out her sons who are bound and gagged, and they're like, wah!
Yeah.
And they are gagged indeed. And so then we go back to Bryce and Hunt, who are in the First Light courtroom, and Regulus is there waiting, and he's like, And then we go to chapter 92. Woo! And Hunt and Bryce are fighting Regulus, and Hunt needs a shot at the crystal core to get, like, the crystal floor to get to the core. And then he's like, can you distract him? And Bryce is like, yeah, sure, man. And so she's like teleporting all around, and he's like, zip, 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 zip.
And just...
And then Ethan's running through the streets with the antidote smashed because he also gets shot at. And so obviously those antidotes smashed. And then he needs to find Bryce and give her the stuff.
I was so annoyed when that happened too, because I was like, this whole time, the whole reason you sent Hypaxia Ethan back was to like make the antidote, and they've made the antidote, and it works. And it just made me so annoyed that she literally just got rid of all. Like, ugh.
You know what I'm wondering? Why the fuck did we put this in glass vials? Why did we bring out the hydro flask?
Well,
The Stanley Cup, if you
the
will.
glass vials are they literally have plastic vials. Like, why was
Or
that?
shooters. Empty out a couple shooters and stick an antidote in there. Like, oh my god. Who gave her plastic or glass test
vials.
tubes? And I was like, yes, this is what we're gonna do.
They will make it. It'll be all good.
So then Lydia confronts Pollux, who is she's not rocking with Rune at the moment, even though Rune's still rocking with her.
Mm-hmm.
She's not. She's like, you shot me. And Rune's like, you would have walked into this fucking trap, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, my sons. And Pollux smiles at her and he's like, I'm gonna kill your sons in front of you. And I hate him.
So this whole scene is so weird.
It's so
everyone's just like standing there. Like literally everyone is just standing there and Pollux is just pointing one gun at a singular person. And Lydia's just...
Well, because if she does anything, he'll shoot Rune.
Yeah.
And she can't.
Or the sons.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be more Rune because they couldn't intervene if it was Rune. Like, he'd be dead.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what. So it's like, they're scared. They're scaredy cat. So chapter 93... Pollux shoots Therion because Therion tries to shoot Pollux and my man, bullet straight through his chest. In one end, out the other, my man.
Mm-hmm.
My man got shot.
Poor Therion.
I was in pain. I was shattered for a moment.
I was like, he's fine.
I let it be known I did cry at the end of this book. Only once.
Me too.
But there were a couple times that I was close. But I only the tears only fell at one point. It was not here though. And then so he shoots Therion, and then he goes back to pointing it at Rune, and then Rune's like, "I'll trade myself for her and her sons." And Pollux is like, "Why would I want you?" And Rune's like, "She's my mate, you dumbass!" And I literally squealed. I squealed. The squeal I squunked was insane.
I was so excited. I was so happy, and Lydia gasped. But.
Mm-hmm. And so then Rune's like, come on, man. Me for the boys. And he's like,
Nah.
And Therion's still on the floor.
Yeah.
Bleeding out. Chapter 94, Pollux is like, nah, I don't really want to do that. And he takes a shot at Bran. But Lydia, speed of fucking light, her motherhood skills, she jumps in front of Bran, turns, lights on fire. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Bran! Brandon! And, Brennan from Thorn of Glass.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. And then she incinerates Pollux.
Yeah. And but also, I feel like this. I just have so many issues with this scene because I'm like, yeah, it's cool she caught on fire, but I feel like the whole scene could have been done more creatively. You're telling me holding Rune at gunpoint was the best way the scene could have been done. I feel like they could have had so much more actual fighting in this scene rather than standing and talking and begging Pollux. What the fuck?
Yeah, the begging part was a little bit weird, but
especially because one moment she had just taken the antidote and she's like, I'm full of power, and then all of a sudden she's like, please.
I think it was I don't know. I feel like it was because she's just on crack cocaine. Mm-hmm. She's just not thinking at all.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably part of it. And she incinerates Pollux and she's like, yeah. And then she's like, Rune, take my sons and get Therion to a healer and I'm gonna go fuck shit up. And Rune's like, and she's like, take them and go. And so somehow Danica had known of Lydia's abilities because Danica knows everything all the time. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so she's from a very old bloodline that has to do with stags from another world. Aelin Ash River Galathinius. Mm-hmm. And then Lydia's like, she walks outside and the Dreadwolves are there and she's like, time to clean house.
Y'all are gonna die.
Time to clean fucking house. Uh-huh. And so she incinerates them. And then the brimstone missiles are gonna go off. Mm-hmm. They're gonna take the city out. And so Lydia's like, well, I guess I'm gonna die.
She's like, I've got this, guys. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry, Pookies. I can do it. Mm-hmm. And so she starts running out of, and she's like, all of my memories are sad except these 4 memories that I can remember. And she starts replaying them. And she's like, it's worth it all for these 4 memories. And I was like, ow, Lydia.
Oh, Lydia.
Girl.
Poor girl.
And then she's about to implode. And then the sprites show up. Yay! And they blow up the war machines, and including in the sprites is Erithis, my queen, my beloved. I love her. And they're like, we're gonna burn it all down. Ate with that.
They really did.
Sarah ate with that scene in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Ate down. Therion is dying. Therion is bleeding out on the floor.
And Bran and Ace are like, yo, what the fuck do we do? We gotta save him. And Rune's like, he's kind of gone. I don't really know what to do.
Rune is having an internal battle with himself because he's like, my Lydia is out on the street. And he's like, but like, I can't leave her sons. And then she's like, ooh, antidote. And he takes the antidote. And very, like, just coincidentally, he has healing magic.
And he's like, I got this.
I can do
it. and single-handedly, literally, saves Therion.
He, like, mends
and then hauls him over his shoulder.
And they go out into the street. And freaking Ethan runs into the hallway. And he's like, wait, where's Bryce? And Rune's like, downstairs!
In the palace!
And so they run in opposite directions. And he takes the kids and Therion to safety. Chapter 95. Bryce and Hunt are still fucking it up with the First Light Core. They're still going at it. And Bryce is slowing down. She is losing battery power.
Yep.
And so they transport upstairs. And Hunt's like, Bryce, one more strike and I got it. And Bryce is like, and so she's like, "I'll power up, please." And so they kiss.
And I forgot they did that.
They kiss, and it's like a goodbye kiss because, like, obviously they're gonna falter and like die.
Yeah.
And then freaking Ethan runs into the hallway, and he's like, "Wait!"
All I could imagine during this scene was like Bryce being like, "Dang, Hunt, it was a good one.
Nice run, good game."
And all of a sudden, Ethan's like, "Lockwood." It's so funny. Ethan's just like been here the entire time, and then he's just, "Hey guys, wait a minute, I got you."
And so Ethan gives Bryce the bullet with all the second light in it, and Hunt's like, "What is a bullet gonna do?" And she's like, "It's not just a bullet, it's a bomb." And then she's like, "Get out of the palace," and she transports downstairs. And then they're like, "What?" But before she leaves, she gives Hunt the mask.
Whoa.
And then she transports downstairs, and she is joined by Regulus and the 4 other Asteri that are not dead because one also died at some point by someone.
Someone did something.
And so Regulus says, I think you want to stop and think about that? Because if you destroy the core, you destroy Midgard.
And then we get to 96, and Bryce is like, "Yo, you made the First Light Core a kill switch for Midgard?" And
like, damn, they're assholes.
Yeah.
They're assholes.
They said, if we can't live, neither can
None of you bitches can.
And so, but they actually don't want to die. So they are trying real hard to convince her to not shoot the First Light Core. They're like, "Hey, are you really going to kill everyone? Like, you thought Asphodel was bad. What about your whole planet?"
No, literally.
And
they're like, "Well, we'll make you queen.
Yeah,
like, you can come hang out with us."
They try like tempting her, and they're like,
"You can sit with us."
And they're like, "Actually, Bryce, we'll let you and everyone you love live. We'll even let you have your own planet if you want it. You can rule that planet however you want." And she's like, "What the fuck?"
She's like, "I have come so far in this 1 week."
Yeah, she's like, "No." And then so she fires Godslayer right into the first core and blows up Midgard. And this black hole shows up and starts pulling in all of Midgard. So then Bryce is like, oh, and it's pulling in Bryce too.
Yeah, they go down. Yelling timber.
Yeah. And then Bryce is like, "Wait, I've got this." And she's like,
"I have an idea."
She opens her own black hole to eat the First Light black hole. So this one she can control though and close. So she's just solving a problem with a very big black hole. And so you know what?
That's how it works sometimes.
That'll do it. And then we get to 97. And so the first one is Rune turns around. He sees the Crystal Palace is being pulled into a black hole, and he is concerned.
Slightly concerned indeed.
Yeah, and this is when he takes Therion and it starts running with his with Lydia's children too.
Mm-hmm.
And then So Hunt is on the floor above and is like, I can't believe Bryce left me.
Oh
She
my
didn't
God.
sacrifice herself. Oh my God. And then he looks and he sees Ethan there and he's like, oh wait, I guess I should save Ethan. And then Ethan and Hunt just start running out. Like Ethan just got there. Now he's having to sprint back.
He's like, well, like, I think Bryce would not forgive me if I let Ethan die. So
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna help him.
Yeah. And so Bryce is headed towards this black hole and she is in space. She cannot breathe.
Inside of space.
Yeah, and the horn in her back is letting her breathe still somehow. I guess it's created some bubble of something around her so she can still breathe. And so she is watching the Asteri get sucked closer and closer to the line of no return.
The black hole.
Mm-hmm. The first black hole.
Yeah.
Not her black hole. They're in that black hole. And the black hole works because the black hole is the only thing in the universe that can like develop, like eat
if you will,
light, and just gobble it down. And so she left a window open to Midgard. I guess, I don't know, as a way she thought maybe I could get back, but it's also kind of just like her last look at her home.
It's like also attached to like her life.
Yeah.
So as long as she's alive, the hole will stay open. But like she's like, I don't have that much time, so it's not like it really matters.
Yeah, so she's like, it'll close. And so the Asteri are dying one by one. They're getting sucked past the line of no return.
It's so funny.
It really is, because they're like,
there's one of them, I don't remember which one, but one of them is like clinging to fucking Regulus like a fucking worm.
Like, get off me! And Ostrus, I think was his name.
Ostrus, yeah.
And so Regulus kicks the guy past the line of no return. And this kick gives him momentum and launches him towards Bryce. Mm-hmm. And now he's clinging to Bryce and he is pissed.
He's mad.
Pissed. And now the mass doesn't work when Regulus is near because Regulus is the one that made the mass. So
the horn.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, the mass. Hunt has the mass.
Yeah. The horn was made by the Asteri, so it like doesn't really work against them. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of like silences.
It's scared of them.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so she can't breathe with her because her bubble of the horn has disappeared. Mm-hmm. But then she's like, all right, if I'm going down, so are you. And then so she like wraps her body around Regulus. Mm-hmm. And the way that she describes it though is kind of funny.
It's so weird.
It's like I wrap my like thighs and arms around his frail, thin, like teenage boy body, and I'm like, whoa,
girl, whoa, calm down.
Oh my gosh. And then 98. Hunt is very distraught.
He's extremely distraught.
He can see Bryce just floating into the black hole, and he's like, "Damn, that's my mate there.
Sucks so
that's
bad.
My wife." And Ados is like, "Man, I told her to choose life."
Ados is like, "This sucks, bro."
It is really.
He's like crying.
Yeah.
I love Adidas.
And Hunt is like, she wouldn't be Bryce if she chose herself.
Which true.
Mm-hmm, very true. Very true. There's one thing we know about Bryce. Is
she gonna sacrifice.
She gonna do for the greater good. So Hunt's like, I have to save her. And Ados is like, you literally can't. Mm-hmm. You like, there's no way you can fly in there. Air does not exist in a black hole. So your wings are just gonna stop moving. And you'll get stuck in there too. And Hunt's like, hey, I have to do something. And then like a little mech suit, like just like robots.
Waddles on up
behind him. He's like, hey, yo, what's up? And then it's one of the fallen, and turns out it's Shahar.
I cried. That was when my tears started.
That was when you cried?
Well, no, it was later when I actually cried. That's when the tears started welling up because like she walks up and he goes, Shahar, and I went, oh!
Especially because I forgot about her, kind of. And so I especially forgot she was part of the fallen. And so I was like, oh my god, it's ex-lover!
That's the one where like my eyes started welling up. I was like, oh.
Really? Oh my gosh.
That's so sad.
So Shahar's like, hey, yo, get in. And so he gets into the mech suit that she currently is like, that's her body. So it's kind of weird that he's like inside, but like whatever.
She's just like piloting it.
Yeah. And then he can like feel her presence like around him. And so then they run off into the black hole
together
and propel and use. And then they get in there and he sees that Regulus and Bryce are struggling, that they're like together. And he has one brimstone missile left. And he's like, I can't just fire it because I'm gonna hit Bryce.
Yeah.
and then Shahar's like guiding his hand to like fire, and
she's like, you
got this, we've got this. And so he like trusts Shahar, and he fires. And all of the fallen imbue all of their souls and their cause onto this one brimstone missile, and all of the fallen go with this missile and like guide it directly towards Regulus.
It also hurt my heart, this one.
Yeah,
the tears were still in my eyeballs.
And so Regulus is like, gets hit with it and fired into the black hole. And when it gets into the black hole, it like blows up. Like the missile finally blows up. Mm-hmm. And so then Hunt goes with the mech suit and grabs Bryce, and the mask like whispers a word to him, but he like ignores it.
He's like, she's unconscious. And the mask is like, and he's like, she's unconscious. She's frozen like an obstacle.
And so then the mech suit is kind of like out of its little energy, or like to propel itself to get back. And then so he's like, oh no, the portal, it's closing.
Because someone is a word that he will not speak of.
The word that shall not be named.
Yeah.
And so the portal's closing. And then all of a sudden, the princes of hell, Ados, Thanatos, and Apollyon are there, holding it open in their like ugly prince form.
Ugly prince form is crazy.
And then Apollyon turns into his like human kind of looking form. And then Hunt's like, my lightning, and I can reach out with it, and he like rodeo whips.
He fucking Indiana Jones is it.
Rodeo whips Apollyon, and Apollyon catches it. And then like Hunt has this whole moment where he's like, I'm proud to be a son of hell.
Yeah, he allows himself to be like, yeah, this is chill.
He's like, I love my heritage. And then Apollyon's like pulling in the lightning, like reeling it in. And then the portal's still closing, even with the princes holding it open. And then all of a sudden, there's like more and more people coming, like the sprites and Lydia, I think.
And Rune and Theria. Like Isaiah, everyone's there.
Naomi, like everyone's there helping open this portal.
And I also still had these tear balls in my eyeballs.
Yeah. And Hunt's like, oh my god, it's family. It's one people united together. It's all through love, and through love, all is possible. And so, oh my god,
sobbing.
It's sobbing. Great. And so, yeah, so they make it back through the portal, and then sets down, and he realizes the word that he'd been ignoring, the mask, was dead, and Bryce is dead.
Dead. As far,
like gone, which not dead. There, not there. But yeah, and so 99. Hunt is trying hella hard to revive her.
He is not letting go.
Like electrocuting her. And everyone's like, hey, Hunt, she's gone. Ados is like, she's done. You can't do anything. Mm-hmm. And Hunt's like, you can save her. You can save her. They're like, our magic does not work like that.
Yeah, that does not work like
that. Sorry. And then Rune thinks that he lost his sister, and then he's all like, and then Hypaxia shows up. Yay! And Hypaxia is like, I can bring her back.
I might be able to try something.
I can do it. And they're like, I kind of don't want you to just revive her and we get some monstrous freak.
Yeah. They're like, Bryce wouldn't want that.
Yeah. And so she's like, I didn't say I was going to revive her. And then she said something, I think it's like trade lives or something like that. And then Jasiba walks up.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want payment. This is a trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Jessica walks up, and yeah, and then they're like, "Oh my god!" And then new thing, and so they're talking, and okay,
they're all confused.
Yes,
they're all hella confused.
All very confused.
Because like grief and adrenaline and like all of that.
And then Apollyon and Jasiba are having this whole like little like, what are you doing here? You stupid bugs! Like they're like back and forth.
Apollyon's like, priestess, you bitch. And Jessica's like, you cursed me.
And then he goes, I cursed you with life. And she's like, well, now I'm giving it to someone else. They're like having this whole moment, and everyone's like, and so then Hypaxia's like, I think this can work where Jasiba gives up her life and gives it to Bryce. Mm-hmm. And they're like, are you sure this is gonna work? And they're like, yeah. And Hypaxia's like, we gotta go now. She is thinning out here. So she starts chanting and everybody gets quiet. And then the next thing we show up and it's Bryce and she's in this like beautiful meadow. And Bryce is like, where am I? And then
what's up?
Jessica walks up and she's like, hey girl, what's up?
Hey Pookie.
You looking for the way out? It's over there.
You looking for the exit?
Yeah. And then she's like, what is this place? And she's like, it's the place where we're all gonna go now. And then she goes, oh, and I left all those books for you. Love you. Love you, Pookie.
She like the whole. I actually like. I appreciated it. The whole thing with like having Ethan pack up her entire office. Like this was a long game.
She knew it was coming.
Like that. I was like, oh, Sarah.
And she had mentioned it earlier too, where like she had to like do some important documents or something, which would be like the transfer ship of all of her books.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really cool. And then she mentions the Artesian amulet, and how it like was made to protect the last of the books, as like and could be and protect Midgard. It was imbued with the original power of Midgard,
like as a planet.
And so Jasiba was like, I think Midgard is like sentient, like in the way that all planets kind of are and alive. And it knows it's grateful to you for what you've done to save it. So I think that's why it's going to allow us to do this little swap-a-roo of lives.
Yeah.
And especially because I mean, Jasiba also did something similar where she worked so hard, gave up her own life to devoting to protect the knowledge and the magic of Midgard. So I think it's why it allowed them to do that, because both of them had to
sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrificed. But yeah. And so then Bryce like looks over Jasiba's shoulder and sees Danica.
This is where I cried.
This is where I cried too.
But it wasn't this specific part. It's a couple paragraphs later.
Yeah, and she's like, oh my god, Danica, and da-da-da-da. And she realizes that like all of Danica's hard work has now been fulfilled. That she has dedicated apparently years of her life to, and just didn't tell Bryce.
And then the pack of devils is also there,
right behind her, and like she mentions that like a taller figure in the back with Connor.
Yeah.
And then she mentions a little like there's a heart.
She's like, oh, a little baby hand waved at me, and I literally tears started pouring out of my eyes.
Oh my god!
Whenever Danica is mentioned, I don't like her. But whenever her ghost is mentioned, I'm like,
because it's like at that point, I'm like, oh my god, it's her best friend. I'm like, oh my god, she's seeing her best friend again. That's so sad. Because I think I'm more crying for Bryce than I am crying for Danica.
Yeah.
And
then Lahaba just pushed me over the edge.
Yeah, but this was the only part I cried at. Like, I didn't even well up at any of the other parts.
I did when Shahar showed up. I was like, for Hunt, I was like, oh.
Oh, that was something I forgot to mention. At some point, he put the mask on, and it's because Bryce left a part of.
Oh yeah, that's why he could breathe.
Yeah, because she left a part of her made self into him, and so he like had it, and so like he was sort of made.
Sort of.
Yeah.
For a minute.
For a little bit, and then it wore out. Oh, that's right. That was when he was trying to revive her, and he yells at the mask to help revive
He's
her.
like, do it!
And then it like just falls off his face, and he's like, what the fuck?
It's like, this is useless.
He was like, well, what is this? And then, and so she returns to life. And then we get to 100. 100! And so Bryce wakes up, and she's like, hey, what's everybody around me for?
She's like, this is a weird like version of going to your own sailing.
Yeah.
Your own funeral.
And so she's like, oh my god, Danica's work has been fulfilled. And then they're like,
she looks up at Ethan and she goes, who died and made you prime?
Oh my god. And then someone says Sabine.
It's Hypaxia goes, Sabine.
Thank you, Hypaxia.
I love her.
And then they're like Hunt and Bryce are like staring at each other lovingly, and then they start kissing. And Ethan's just like, so someone want to find like a can or something to see his ashes? Like, I was like, what the hell?
I was like, rude. Oh my god, not the time.
Oh my god.
Go find a cup yourself.
And then and then it goes to the next part, and Hunt is saying goodbye to the fall, and he's going around. He's like seeing all these feathers.
That
everywhere.
one also hurt my heart a little bit.
Yeah, and then he's like essentially saying bye and like thank you to Shahar, and then like he's like, you guys have completed your mission. Everything you fought for has now been worth it.
He's like, thank you for having my back one last time, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
it hurt a little spicy.
Yeah, and then he's like just sitting there, and then Isaiah shows
My
up.
man. No one died. I mean, Jasiba did, but she wanted to, so it wasn't. I don't count it. No one died.
That was kind of like another thing. I was really expecting someone else to die, and like it just didn't happen. And Baxton wasn't even there.
Baxton wasn't there. He didn't even
Baxton time. Oh my god, not Shannon lying.
How dare she?
Ugh, but yeah, and so Isaiah and them are like talking. He's like, "Thanks for being my partner in brooding." It was cute. It was cute. And then Isaiah's like, Hunt, you could rule the angels. You could dismantle the archangels and their society and make it like good again. And Hunt's like, maybe. And then he gets a text from Bryce, and he's like, and Isaiah's like,
and he goes. So I'm not gonna do that. But you can.
I think you'd be great, Isaiah. I think you'd do it.
My man.
And Isaiah's like, what? And then Hunt's like, bye! And like goes off to see Bryce.
He goes, lead them well. Off into the distance.
Yep. And then after that, Declan and Flynn are now working on a way to find a way to power Midgard. Now that First Light just kind of look at her.
Did you eat something weird, bro?
She looks insane.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're looking for a way to power Midgard now that First Light is just gone, and that powers their entire planet. So now they're like, okay, well, when our phones die, we'll have nothing left to do.
They're like so sad that freaking Morven isn't here to live out his fantasy.
Yeah.
In a Midgard without power.
Yeah. And so they're like, well, I guess we'll just have to go back to using candles until we figure out how to like make light. And so they just need to get on that Thomas Edison thing. Like,
literally.
It's not that hard. He did it.
She opened a black hole. I'm sure she can make electricity.
Yeah. And I mean, hold on. Hunt literally has electricity. Like, come on now. And then Bryce returns to Prithian, and she returns with Cassian. And she opens. Hold on. Hunt. She returns with Hunt. And the portal opens, and Nesta and Cassian and Ember and Randall are all just like having tea.
I'm so mad. There's this scene. I was so just hoping for Cassian looked at Hunt's wings and like nice an eyebrow or something.
I was waiting for a bro moment so bad, or like nice wings or something.
I mean, Hunt wouldn't have understood him.
Oh, that's
But I was waiting for a nod, an acknowledgement that they both got wings or something, and it wasn't there. It was so sad.
Oh my god. Or like a whole I feel like Castian in another world would have been like examining like the pulling up the feathers, like looking. Oh wait, to be fair though, like to them it's like not good to touch someone else's wings. So, but okay, whatever. Anyways, and Ember and Randall like, oh my god, hey Pookie! And she's like, Yasteria did. And they're like, oh really? Nice.
Wow, we've been having tea.
Yeah, and they're like, Nesta was really in the doghouse after she helped you. You better thank her.
Mm-hmm.
And Bryce is like, oh my gosh, hey Nesta, here's the mask and truth teller. Thanks, Pookie.
And Nesta's like, you brought them back? And she's like, yeah,
I said I would.
Obviously.
And yeah, so they've been having a grand old time, just hanging out.
There was a very I'm not going to say poorly written line, but a little bit, where Reese is like impending doom showing up, and Bryce is like, oh my god, we should get out of here, and Ember's like, Reese will be fine, and she's like, Reese will be fine? First name, nickname basis?
Literally, and she mentions him later, and she's like, Reese can like calm down.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh yeah, Randall and him bonded over being overprotected dads, and I was like, oh that's a weird line.
It is very weird. I was like, oh, Millennial Court.
Yeah,
Millennial Court.
A little bit.
Because that's very much like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I want to see, I'm so sad we didn't see Nyx, because I really want to see Nyx.
I'm sure it's in the bonus chapter that neither of us have read.
Oh, so true.
Because the bonus chapter that we have is Ember and Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
Which they have a cute little like mommy and like daughter moment where they like give a hug, and Bryce is like, I don't think Nesta has had a mom hug in a very long time, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and so you can see that Nesta and Ember like really care for each other, and like Nesta needed the kind of like mother figure, because I mean, from what we know of their mom,
she sucks.
She was really bad. really bad. Like hated Feyre, didn't give a fuck about Elaine, and put like everything on Nesta, and that Nesta had to marry up. So I think Nesta really needed like
a mom hug.
Yeah. And so then before Bryce leaves though, Nesta gives the Star Sword. No, Bryce gives the Star Sword to Nesta and is like, you have tattooed a 8-point star on your back. It is there for a reason, and I think you will need this one day. And so she gives it to her, and she's like, oh, thanks. I'll figure that one out.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's the end of that chapter. And then we get to 101. And Renki and David come back for Lydia's sons, and they're having a whole big powwow talking.
They're like, crying.
Hey, so glad to see you. Love you. And then Lydia resigns from the Ocean Queen. And then she says bye to her sons, and they actually do want her in their lives.
Yeah, Bran gives her a hug.
So happy. Bran gives her a hug, and Ace is like,
he looks at Rune and he goes, and Rune like mind speaks, like he gives him a look that's like, take care of my mom, and like Rune like mind speaks to him, and he stumbles, and Lydia's funny. Like, what?
She's like, I know you're saying something. What are you saying? And so yeah, then that's it. Okay. And then Bryce says bye to the princes. They make it back to Nina, and they're walking all of hell back through the portals, and they're taking all of the demons with them.
It's very cutie.
It is very cutie, because it's almost like the princes are like a wee bit sad to be seeing them go, because it's like through this they've kind of become friends, like well acquainted in the least. Especially Bryce and Ados, because I mean Ados has known Bryce since she was little, and it's kind of like been watching over her. And so it's very cute. And Bryce says that Thea would be proud,
and he's like, she's like, you'll see her again, and Ados is like, do you think so? And she's like, I think anyone who's like has a good heart will be in that meadow. And he's like, okay, and he walks back through the portal, and there's like little tears in his eyes,
and they Apollyon and Ados like both wave goodbye. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cute.
Cutie. Especially
because Apollion's kind of like Hunt's dad, but like not really, but like, so it's kind of funny. And then Tharian goes back to the meat market.
He has to find his wife.
He's looking for a wife. He's looking for his wife. And then Ariadne pops up, and she's like, you're stupid for coming back here. What the hell's wrong with you? And he's like, oh, hey, girl.
What's up, Pookie?
And that's that. And then 102. Yeah, you didn't do this one.
Okay, so Bryce dismantles the Fae monarchy. She has this whole little press conference, and she's like, okay, so the Fae monarchy and the Fae royal houses are stupid, so I'm getting rid of them. And all the Fae are like, and she's like, I don't care, actually. I'm donating all of the king's houses and money to the Asfoli Meadows people, and specifically his villa is going to house the orphans from the massacre. And everyone's like, oh! And she's like, Avalon, all of it. I'm going to sell them houses, and that money's going right to the massacre fund. And they're like, and then she's like, suck it, losers. You're in the mud with the rest of us. Peace. And then we switch over to to Rune and Lydia, who Rune gets Lydia an apartment, and he's like, so sorry, because it's right below Bryce's, but he's like, at least it's yours. And she's like, oh my god. And he's like, and I got you this one special. And he got her one with a guest bedroom that has 2 beds for her sons to come and stay. And then he gives her a beer, and they like clink it, and they're like, to a normal life.
But also fucking their apartment being directly under Hunt's and Bryce's is so funny. Like those two are gonna hear each other fucking all the time. Like, oh my lord.
Constantly. And so then we switch over to Flindeck, Ethan, and Lydia and Rune, who are at the Ox. And,
oops.
What?
I wrote the wrong thing.
Oh, well, they're also the den. They're at the den. They're at the Ox, and they're like, this is great. We're all together forever. And then Perry is there, and Flynn's like, I and Perry, and Ethan's like, I don't like that. And then Perry laughs, and he's like, I like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Perry, I love.
Ethan's so cute with Perry.
They're so cute.
Their little strawberry smells.
And then they're like, they have this moment where they're like, the houses are together. Like, we're one house, we're one people. This is great. A pack of houses. And someone makes fun of Ethan for being a Sunball captain. He's like, I guess I am.
I am a captain.
And then we switch over to Bryce, who's making a library of the books that Jasiva gave her. So it's like for everyone to come see. And the sprites work there now, and they're all doing their little thing, and they're watching Veiled Love or something on Hunt's phone. And Bryce,
I think that's so cute. Like,
it's so funny.
Kids, play with my phone.
Yeah. And so then Hunt and Bryce are like talking, and they're like, Hunt's like, well, I can be a sexy secretary. And Bryce is like, oh, the sexiest. And they're about to
get into it. They sent the sprites away, and they're like.
And so then Baxian calls them multiple times, and Bryce is like, just answer it. And Baxian calls them, and he's like, hey guys, I'm a little scared. And they're like, oh my god, what's happening? Here.
They just popped out of nowhere.
They're like, what? And he's like, the winged horses. And Bryce is like, horses with wings. And she looks at Hunt, and she's like, I think we have to go. And Hunt's like, for Jelly Jubilee and the flesh,
that was so
anything.
Fun.
And they hop on off into the sunset to go see the horses, and that's where it ends.
But also, slavery is illegal now in all of Midgard, so that's something they have to work with.
That's what Erithis is off doing. She's off looking to free her people, which, slay girl.
Mm-hmm. They also have to figure out how to, make governments.
Yeah.
And then, we're good.
Also, I just want to talk about a couple loose ends because I'm very confused about what happened to Victoria. Why did no one get Victoria? Ooh. The Wrath from book 1, who they put in a fucking box and then sent to the bottom of the ocean.
I forgot.
They were on the the Ocean Queen's ship twice, and no one got Victoria.
I forgot about her. Oh my god.
Also, Ariadne, where did she go?
And Sigrid,
where did she go? And then Sathya, where did she go?
Literally, he goes, I need to find my wife. And then it ends. Yeah. Did you find her? Is Colin okay?
Literally. I feel like that's all my loose ends. But
no, I did not like the ending. It was just a lot more underwhelming than I thought it was going to be. Because everything that they did worked out. There was no plan B, plan C, plan D. It was all just, we got this. And then they
got it. They worked it out. I mean, Bryce did die along the way.
She did, but she was expecting to. We were all expecting her to. And I feel like it was extremely easy to kill the Asteri. They didn't really fight. Except Regulus. Regulus was just and then that was it. And I was like, right.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just felt a wee bit underwhelming to me. But other than that, I did enjoy it.
I also cried, so that's nothing on me.
Cried one, but I sobbed at the end of the first Crescent City.
Oh yeah,
sobbed.
Yeah. So I think it worked out. I think we should do a little bonus episode if we have the time on the bonus chapters. We'll just read them all.
Oh yeah,
we'll do it like that. But so stick around for that.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone can find Victoria for me, I don't know where she is. I'm very upset about this. They were on the Ocean Queen ship twice. They talked to the Ocean Queen. And no one thought, let's go get Victoria.
Yeah, especially because she was punished for something that
she was friends with Hunt.
Yeah, she was punished for something that Hunt, Isaiah, and Naomi all did.
And no one thought to go get her.
Hunt had his wings cut off and something else, and Victoria's just gone. Oh, they killed one of them too. There was another one, wasn't there? A guy? There was a
possibly
guy. Because it was Victoria got sentenced to that because she was
they blood angeled him or eagle.
Yeah. And then so they killed one of them, and then Hunt and Isaiah were already slaves, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah. Anyway, someone find Victoria. Stick around because next week we'll be starting Ekotar. And thank you for joining us. It has been a long journey.
Very long journey. It's a big old book, but we did it. We did it.
Peace out.
Bye.